Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Howie, and I'm here to help you win with money. Today is Monday, December 27, 2021. Merry Christmas, all. And this video is to show week number 51, all the trades, all the options trades that I did, and the dividends that I received in week number 51. And you can see before we go on, markets are green, looking really good. Santa Claus rally is in effect. The last couple of days were green also, and I think this week is going to end pretty good. And it will take us well into January 2nd or 3rd, and it will be green. Before we go on to the transactions, as always, if you are on Facebook, join Facebook group Investing 102. I do post a lot of my trades literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes after I do them. Mostly options trade. I do post my Bitcoin stuff and maybe even some of my credit card hacks and how I get points and what I do to maximize the value. So join me, Investing 102. So let's get right to it. So we're going to copy the transactions as I do for the last 50 weeks. I just copy it from my brokerage account, and then I just move it into my tracking spreadsheet, and then give me I need about 10-15 minutes. I have to go delete some of these things and then plug in all the other stuff. First thing I'm going to do is hit the save button. Now we're going to pivot and see if we find any errors. Actually, I have to do this for 2 weeks, so I want to do 1 week at a time. And you'll see that there is data here. So I'm just going to double check this to make sure none of this is wrong before I move on to the next week. And I'll go here. Let me just do a quick pivot on the monthly data. And there you go. Let me just double check that. Okay, and I finished editing week number 51 data. You see that? So I'm going to save this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go to the top here, go over here to my pivot table, and hopefully it will refresh without any errors. And let me just double check this real quick. So last week I made $600, and then the previous week I lost money. So if you look at that week I lost $2,000, and then the week before that. So you can see December has not really been good to me, but let me just finish the pivot here, and there you go. So you can see I'm actually negative for the month. So this is really bad trend. Negative 6,000, negative 600, and this month I'm on track for a negative month. So that's my first negative quarter in a long time. I haven't had a negative quarter in so long. So these are things that you have to look at. Now, if you look at it from an aggregate for the whole year, I still make profit for the whole year, even if you subtract all the dividends out, right? So one way you can look at it is remove the $6,400, I still made $12,000 trading in option. And a lot of people don't realize, I don't have a lot of cash that I trade with. You're basically, if you're doing short-term trades, you're recycling the cash every week. Sometimes you're holding the cash for 2 to 3 weeks out. So it's not necessarily weeklies. I do blend it with some short-term, some of them are long-term. So when you blend it in, some of the cash is being used at least once a month, so you can recycle it about 12 times a year. So that's the beauty about some of these strategies. You don't need a lot of cash to trade. So let's talk about some specific trades. And here's the yearly running totals. I did 26 trades on week number 51, which is last week, bringing my total this year to 1,282 trades. My current running P&L is $18,480, which means I'm making about $14.42 per trade. So let's look at some of the things that went right and some of the things that did not go right. Here I put a filter on Tesla, and you can see I've been in and out of Tesla, and then I stopped trading it until recently. You look over here, I did a really short-term trade. Didn't really make a lot because I opened and closed it. That was a $12 move. But if you look at the date, it was a 1-day move or 1-day trade right here. So that's really not bad, right? If you're holding, you put some capital up for risk for 1 day, you made $12. And this one I put up two contracts. That's $2,000. Made again $12 in one day. And then what I ended up doing was on this particular trade, you see what I did was I opened it here, and then this one's a little bit more complicated to follow because there are some of them, because sometimes I row it. But you can see what happened. I'm opening up, I'm closing up, and then look what happened. I'm starting to gain a lot of money using these moves. So in the last 2 weeks, it's 308, whatever, 300 and change. But I'm only using either 2 contracts or 3 contracts. I go 10 wide, so at most I am risking about $6,000 at any given point. I wait till one is closed before I open another one. There are times where I'm rolling for more credit, but this one is good. The last one that I have open, it's good because Tesla today is trading well over 1,000. I think it even crossed 1,100 this morning. So I may throw out another Tesla trade and another short-term one, and you can see that I've done okay because I'm trying to play it safe. I'm actually using either deltas, like 2, 3, or 4 deltas on a Tesla trade. So there's not a lot of premium. I'm not going to make a lot percentage-wise, but I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to finish out the year. I want to beat my average, which is $14 per trade. I don't think I'm going to hit, I'm not going to make 200 trades between now and the end of the year. There's just not enough time. I don't trade that often. I basically do about 20 or 30 trades a week, and you'll see I'm going to fall behind. So, but the Tesla trade has been working really well. Let's see what's next. The next trade I want to talk about is Riot. So I just added a filter here. There is one more thing I need to do is remove anything that's not stock related, option related, because we don't want to look at purchases because that will skew the data. We just want to look at what we made off of options trading. So here you go. If you look at this, and I'm actually missing a week here. So this should be week 41. I opened a new cover call because I did something like a buy right. So this one is a new, right? This should be a new cover call. So let's fix that. And if you look at how much money I made last week just on Riot, it's not a lot, $70. And if you just do the reverse, if you go backwards, $70, add one more week, I made 116 in the last 2 weeks. Last 3 weeks, 127. Last 4 weeks, $200, a little bit under. And then if you go on further, let's not worry about the weeks now. If you just look at this, you see how I'm gaining value. And Tesla, we're not on Tesla, one Riot right now. So if you look back here, you see it's going up and up and up. And if you just go further back, you see how often I was trading Riot. And again, all these are options. So you're just looking at the options premium. So here I'm up, and then if you scroll back a little bit, here you go, I'm up 1,700, week 8. And remember, Riot, I've actually made more money in this week. Like this blue one, you see how many times I rolled it? And I think I violated my day trader rule, I think, because there are times where on a day I will roll it twice. But you see why, the premium were so juicy, and you can see how it's just gaining and gaining and gaining. And this is the one that, you see this? That week is the yellow week right here. Week number 6 is the one where I did a lot. But if you keep on scrolling, look how much money I made. It's $7,000 just on that one trade. And so I don't like going all in. You see, I should have kept on playing Tesla. I would have done better on Tesla, but I stopped. And then here, Riot, I did not stop. So you gotta monitor your trades and see which trades are working, which one are not working. And you can see Riot has been consistent for me. Remember, I color these every week a different color, so you can see it. So Riot has been good. Let's look at another one that I think I've been playing all year. So the next one I'm going to filter on is, let's take a look at EA. And on EA, let's do declare. I do have to remove, I want to remove all this. So on EA, it's all cover calls, but I'm going to remove the dividends so we don't look at the dividends. And here you go. So again, these are all options on EA. You see the colors here. You see the number of weeks. So I've been playing this slowly. Sometimes I roll up, sometimes I roll down. But if you just do this, take a quick look at it, I make money on it. Not a lot of money. I do have a cover call. My shares are much lower than what they are trading at today. Whether it's at 130, 150, it doesn't really matter. I'm just holding the shares, collecting premium on it. I still make money on my underlying. Great trade for the year. Let's look at another example of something like that. Here's a good example of something that just moves up and down a lot. It's Editas, and you see it's the same concept. I have one contract. It's a cover call. You see, sometimes I collect small premiums. Sometimes I pay a lot. I roll up. I roll. Actually, you see it mostly up. There are some downs in here, but if you look at this, you see it again. It's a few $100. If you look back a little bit more than half a year, you see I'm collecting money. It's just, again, another decent trade that I've been doing all year. And even if it's up or down, I'll just adjust it. I'll keep on rolling my cover calls, and I'm making money both ways. Okay, let's look at the losers. Here's an example of an SPY Iron Condor. And here you can see where I initiated the initial position. Week number 41, I opened it up. I collected $1,400 up front for 14 contracts. And then, you see I waited a week, and then I rolled the untested side, which is the put side, and then you'll see I did it again the next week. I rolled it the untested side, but the problem was, this is one of those weeks where the S&P just kept on running up, and it went closer and closer to my call side, and a better move would have been closing this particular position instead of waiting to go to 21 days. A lot of people wait when they open these 45 days to expiration. They wait till 21 to see what happens, and so I eked out a little bit of premium on this side, 247. But the problem was when it got way too close, and it may have already been tested even on the call side. By the time I closed it, it was way too late. You can see I lost $5,000, and if you look at the net total value, I lost $4,000 on this particular trade. So really poor trade. These are things that you can see it happening. It's a slow rolling move, and really what you have to learn is spot these early. It is better to close it early before you experience a fall. This, you see, I do this so I can see what the credit is. The credit is, it cost me $400 to close, or $4 per contract, and I have 14. So this is really a bad thing. And to be honest, this happened to me multiple times this year. And I don't know why I don't see it. I don't know, is it because I do so many trades, or I have a lot of open positions, and sometimes I just don't see the trend early enough, and by the time I catch it, it is a big loss. Now, in my trading strategy, the worst case scenario is losing 14,000. That's your max loss, which means you really reacted late. And if you did that, you will never make profit for the whole year. If you experience one max loss during the year, it is possible that you can win 18, 19 times in a row with a particular strategy, but that one time that you lose and you experience max loss, you're going to wipe out everything. And that's really not a good way to trade a 95% win rate strategy, because if you experience that one max loss, it's horrible. The key is for you to spot the max loss before it happens, close it out. You can experience a small loss and then readjust by opening the new position. If you do that, I still believe, even with a 95% win rate or 90% win rate, the key is spotting, or even an 80% win rate. I don't want to argue over the win rate, but whatever it is, you got to experience the max loss or potential for any loss a lot sooner. Figure out what you're willing to lose per trade. It's based on math. You do it over time. You see, this is not random. You see, this is my trade numbers. 1,000 trades into the year, and I'm still making money. Now, even with this loss, I'm still making money, because you can see my running P&L for the whole year. I never dip into the negative. I actually went from 0 to like 26,000, and then toward the end of the year, I had a horrible run. So let me show you that real quick. This way you guys know what I'm talking about. This is just not random luck. It's just the way the markets work. But look at my win rates. I won 111, then I had a losing week here. The summer I had a couple losing weeks, and this is really where it killed me. You see, I was up to $24,000, $26,000, and then after that, it was just a bad run. And some of it's because the markets were one directional, and I do really poorly when markets are one directional. I do better when markets are neutral. I do better when markets are up slightly or down slightly. But when it's one direction, Iron Condor is really not a good strategy. but I like them. It's a lot easier for me to play. I don't micromanage my positions, and in the end, am I happy with this? I'm okay with it. I'm not super happy because when I was here in the summer or late fall, I was expecting to finish out the year at 30 grand in profits. Obviously, this is a big letdown for me, but it is what it is, and this is why we talk about it. Examine your trade. So let's see what else I can show you. Here's another one I'm going to talk about, Chronos. This is a cannabis play. Cannabis has been horrible. While I made a little bit of money on the options, I do not want to paint this picture as really good or rosy. Cannabis has been dead money, left holding the bag. The amount of money I made in premium did not cover the losses I suffered from the underlying. So cannabis, it's a tricky one. I still like the industry, but it's obviously not paying out the way I expected. Really, work from home stock has done better. Things like technology stock has done better. Chip sector has done better. You would have done better on almost any car company. But cannabis has just been a big letdown in my portfolio. Again, I don't have a lot in it. I'm playing a lot of these high risk stuff, and I'm going to keep an eye on this industry. But this is a big letdown. I'm going to call it for what it is. Let's look for something else. Okay, here's another one that I want to show you. This is a Microsoft Iron Condors, and you see this didn't really work out well. I had to convert to an Iron Fly. Whenever that happens, that's really bad news. It means that generally it passed through my insurance leg, and if you look at this, it's been horrible for the whole year. There are times where you make money, then there are times where I lose it all. And so let me show you all the way back to the beginning of January 21. So let's just start over here. But if you look at this, I lost money. And so you're almost like, why trade then, right? You do all these trades and in the end you still lose money. So a lot of it's because you're going to realize some stuff moved more than you expected, and when it blows through, and again, I'm playing mostly Iron Condor, you see these are not going to work out really well. So over time I learned what to play and what not to play. And there are times where you realize something like this can move up or down huge in either direction. Like Riot, I was mostly playing the put side using cash secured puts. Now I did switch over. I'm actually owning Riot shares now. But Microsoft has been just hard to play for me. I haven't really made money. So I looked at my pattern and then basically I adjust for next year. But this is not a good trade for me. Didn't really make any money. So I think that's all for this video. It is going long. Hey, there's going to be one more video to summarize all my options trades for the year. And based on what this looks like, you can see that I'll probably end the year close to 1,300 trades, which is 200 trades less than what I expected. My profit margin was maybe around where I expected it, so there was no letdown there. But really, my bad trades really wiped out, 6,000-7,000 of my profits in the last 6 weeks. So that's really depressing or sad, but it is part of trading. You can't make money every week. I do try, and I try to manage my losses, but I don't think this is going to be a big year. And if you look at it from a percentage point of view, my options trading actually will probably underperform what I made in just the indexes alone. And a lot of it is because if the markets are up 25%, it's really hard to beat that, especially the way I'm playing. I'm not going for these long, big winners. I'm not going for 50% gains or 100% gains. You guys are seeing that there are times where my trades don't even go for 1% gains. I'm really just going for a volume of trades, making small profits each time, and when you add that all up at the end of the year, the wins should outperform the losses, and over time that will be profitable. But you're not going to average a 40 or 50 or 60% ROI on a method like that. And I'm okay with that. And the reason why is, I said this many times in other places, I'm just shooting for about an 8% rate of return. My retirement just requires about an 8% rate of return. So if my trading produces 14% rate of return or 18 or whatever it may be, I'm okay with that. That's still better than the S&P 500. So this year I'll probably underperform the indexes, but next year and the next 5 or 10 years, when markets are reverting back to the mean and underperforming the historical average, my options trading will make up for it and do a little bit better. So that's what I'm hoping for. Only time will tell. But with that being said, hey, comment below. Let me know how your trading year went, whether or not you were successful or not, whether you learned something or not, what adjustments you're making for the new year. Don't forget to comment, share this with a friend. Let's help other traders be more successful. I do know that there are many people still blowing up their accounts, which means they're losing money. Don't give up. That is the cost of tuition. That is the cost of your education. You can definitely make money trading. Yes, it is a zero-sum game, or actually it's a negative-sum game when you factor in fees and slippage, the difference between the bid and ask. But you can make money. There are other people who use options for hedging or for insurance purposes, so they're okay with losing money on their trades. And if you're playing the opposite side of it, you're the one making their money. And so there's enough room for people to make money in options trading. Don't forget, as always, let's do this together. Let's do this $1 time. Have a profitable day. Bye-bye.